Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes post-game show, recap show, morning show. We're kind of unsure. There's a lot to discuss this morning, but don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig, with Petey. We got Danielle behind the scenes. As per usual, we're going to kind of do a pseudo post-game show, arena discussion, and look ahead to tonight's game. This is the first of 2 times we'll be live today, plus a recap of our wild night last night. But before all of that, how are you guys doing on this fine morning, and how long have you already been awake today?
You're talking to 2 of us. That's almost 4 hours.
Yeah, I've been up since just after 5. This is late.
You guys are crazy.
Walked the dog a few times. It's raining out. Brought the garbage can back in. Hey, it's all good.
I don't like. I don't like this. I don't like this rain. I don't like these gray skies. It makes me feel like I'm living in the Midwest or New England again. Don't need this.
I love it.
You know what rain does, though, guys? It puts out fires. There are a lot of fires around.
There are a lot of fires.
We'll get into this later. I will bite my tongue. I'm just happy we're all here together. And it's funny, though. Well, should I see all of the fire talk for that? My wife's reaction to this was a little different when the power is out and the fire alarm is going in. And literally, we're all up in the studio going, should we wait? Are we going to do our show?
We didn't know the fire alarm was going off, to be fair.
That is true. Get out of the building.
Yeah. Can I also mention that I was the idiot that took the elevator while Petey and Leah took the stairs?
Craig took the elevator up and down. Okay, we have to save this for the end of the show.
Let's talk about the hockey game that really sucked.
Let's talk about it.
And this one sucked from literally the puck drop. And I don't know what is with this team and their ability to prepare to play. I don't know. I don't know what happens to this team. And here's what I'll say. If you're going to suck for the first 10 minutes, your goaltender better be lights out, and he better keep you in it like Ingram has done over the last few, because this team takes so long to get their motor going to start a game. And this, again, you look at it right from the puck drop. Puck's in their own end. Complete control. Everything's fine. We're all good. And it starts with a turnover from Dursey, and then Schmaltz doesn't protect the wall, and the next thing you know, a floater from the top of the circle goes through 4 bodies on top of it, and it's
even the top of the circle. Petey, was it even the top of the circle?
It was farther than that. And then
Petey, you didn't even mention the 2 fights before the clock even started on.
I didn't even get that far. Okay.
Here we go.
The fights. I get it. I do understand it. From the Florida Panther perspective, this has to happen because your player, one of your teammates, has gone down. He's been out since a concussion, since that game against the Arizona Coyotes. And Cousins is a well-liked guy in the room, and he has been hurt 3 weeks worth of concussion. There had to be some repercussions in this game. I get it. Drop the puck, have 2 tough guys fight. Drop the puck again, have 2 tough guys fight. Guess what? In my mind, Zucker fought in the last game. You've got the 2 tough guy fights. Everybody sent their message. Okay, we stood up for our teammate. Now let's play the hockey game. Let's just go do that now. And I think what you're going to see as the game wore on, after even the first goal, which was horseshit defending, the second goal was, the Coyotes were in the penalty box again. And if you watch it, who's in the penalty box? Liam O'Brien. And if you go back and watch the clip, do you know who Liam O'Brien jumped in to protect? Do you know who he jumped in to protect? Josh Brown. Josh Brown, not Logan Cooley, not Dylan Guenther, Josh friggin' Brown. So here's where you have to go, and you have to keep your emotions in check. You have to understand the situation in the game, and you got to go, okay, some little guy pushes on Josh Brown, big guy. Brown doesn't react. It happened to Brown. Doesn't react. Let it go. And this is where Liam O'Brien has to rein it in. He had to fight early, get it. But he cannot take a penalty. And not only can't take it, you're down 1-0 already. You cannot take that penalty. I don't care. You're not sticking up for, if that's Dylan Guenther and he cross-checks him in the mouth, fair game. Knock yourself out, go after it, have a fight, sit in the penalty box for 5 minutes, get kicked out of the game. That's fine. It was Josh Brown. And again, that's game awareness. He didn't have it. They sat in the penalty box, 2-0. Puck drops off of the 2-0 goal. Off of that ensuing play, 3-0. Game's over. We might as well go home.
17 seconds
Turn off the lights in the studio and go home.
And hey,
that's kind of what happened.
come back to that in a minute. I want to throw this out though, and I know we're going to talk more about this in the next segment, but Petey, I got to ask you this. The news of, well, one of many pieces of news in the NHL yesterday, but the one that had to do directly with the Coyotes, or so some people thought had directly to do with the Coyotes. The owner of the Utah Jazz says, we want to start the expansion process in Salt Lake. And oh, by the way, the arena can also host an NHL team immediately. You've been around this team a long time. You've seen all the other reports that the Coyotes, I can cite multiple reputable outlets saying that the Coyotes were going at least 4 other cities, saying it was happening. Obviously, it didn't happen. I remember one tale specifically. The team was in the playoffs, pulling into the arena in Detroit, I believe, and a report comes out that they're going to, was it Winnipeg?
It was Winnipeg.
Okay. You were probably on that bus. Can that sort of thing, at least in the short term, impact a team in the way they perform on the ice?
You can say all the right things, Craig. You can say, oh, it's not real. Oh, this isn't it. But when you start hearing from real people, and I don't mean, it's Joe Fan putting it on his Twitter. I don't mean that. I mean, as you said, reputable media outlets saying this team is moving. It absolutely affects it. 100% affects it. And you can sit there and you need to have the fire put out immediately as best you can. But in that situation, it's just the head coach going, hey, we got to go play. And that's hard. Because you're thinking of, if you're married, you're thinking, I just bought a new house. I've got kids in school. I really like Arizona. Winnipeg, I don't know if I can live in Winnipeg. And then you got the young guys going, hey, I like living in Old Town Scouts. It's the only team I've ever known. It's the only city I've ever known. And I'm going to have to move. Oh, by the way, you got to go play. You got to go play the Detroit Red Wings now. It's incredibly difficult. And you can sit there and I know it's sad. I sat behind a computer in a coach's room marking plays to look at later going, oh my God, do I have to move? And the entire game, you're thinking that. And you can have the general manager come in. And Don Maloney did come in. And not just once, twice. John Chaika came into those rooms. Hey, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. The one person that needs to send a message immediately to the players is ownership. They don't have to call Craig Morgan. And they don't have to tell him what's going on, but you sure as hell better let the players know what's going on. And you better give them some sense of, I don't care if it's bullshit. You better give them some sense of, hey, everything is okay. Let's not worry about it. Because if you don't think that affects a team, it absolutely does. There's been so many rumors swirling around this team for so long. It must have been, I can't imagine getting off that bus in Florida with guys looking at each other going, are we going to Seattle? Or not Seattle, I'm sorry. Are we going to Salt Lake City?
Right? Like they can say that.
Is there another thing?
They're talking though, right? They're talking about that.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Like, we're not in the room, so we can't say exactly what happened or who tried to put the fires out. That's my second reference. Stay tuned
So
for
many
more puns.
fire references.
But yeah, you can say it, but subconsciously it has to affect you. It has to, and it's unfortunate that it's always at bad timing. There's no good time for something like that. But you have to go play the Florida Panthers, a team that's just rolling. It can eat you up on a good night, and when things aren't going well, that's really unfortunate for the Coyotes.
Yeah. And if you even think about it as just think about when there's something going on in your personal life and how it affects you showing up to work. And that's for most people, answer emails or be in meetings, not perform for 60 minutes in a hockey game. So it's no wonder that the first period ended 3-0. They're 6-0 in the beginning of the third period. And we won't dwell too much on the play of this game, but since we didn't have a post-game show last night, we still want to go through all of the things that we normally do. We also have a PD's Puck Talk. So let's get started first with the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Shots on goal, 43 for the Panthers, 33 for the Coyotes. Coyotes 1 for 7 on the power play. That's insane. Panthers 1 for 4. Coyotes had 30 penalty minutes. The Panthers had 36. Obviously, there were a couple fights to start this game off, which adds 10 to each side. Shot attempts, the Panthers had 63 and the Coyotes had 62.
Yeah, don't kid yourself with even the shots on goal and attempts being close. The first period, Florida pumps them. They outshoot them. What was it, 17-5 in the first period? And by the 4 minutes into the second period, it's 4-0. I mean, I would have to say that the Florida Panthers maybe didn't take the foot off the brake, but when you're looking at a 4-0 game that you're dominating, man, they're not coming with their heat the rest of the game. So that one surprised me. And the penalties, again, you look at the penalties, 4 of them were in the third period when this game was 6-0. And that's when the penalties really started to rack up. They had some of the early penalties with the fighting, but this was a cupcake game for the Florida Panthers. There was nothing to it. There was no effort, no energy. They didn't sweat. The Coyotes, I tell you what, their defensive zone coverage in this game was horrific. Turnovers horrific. They weren't ready to play. And we can talk about, what it did subconsciously to the arena, but this team wasn't ready. And I tell you what, buckle up, Buttercup, because tonight they got the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it ain't getting any easier. It's one of the best teams in the league in the East. So just a disappointing effort all around. And one guy we didn't even talk about yet is the goaltending performance of Karel Vejmelka.
Yeah, not Veggie's best night by any means. His first game since January 11th, allowed 6 goals on 43 shots, ended the night with an .860 save percentage. Yeah,
that's not good, Leah.
His team didn't do a lot to help him, but a lot of those goals, like if Connor Ingram were in net, those would have been stopped. Sorry to say.
The first goal, you can't allow a floater from the wall. And I know there was probably maybe a little bit of traffic initially, but we watched the shot. We watched several replays of it from behind. He tracked that puck. He tracked that puck. You noted that he dropped. And I don't know why he's dropping on a shot from high on the half wall. I don't get it either. But he did track that puck. You got to make that save. I'm not having an argument with anybody about whether or not that puck should have gone in the net. You got to make that save. And that kind of play sets the tone for a game. You're behind the 8 ball right away. You're playing a team like the Florida Panthers. I think you said it last night, Petey, when we were talking about this. If that's the San Jose Sharks and you give up the first goal of the game, you're thinking, okay, we still got a chance. But it's the Florida Panthers. So now all of a sudden you're in a little bit of panic mode because, the goalie didn't make a simple save. And now we're playing a team that we know is a cup contender. This is going to be an uphill battle. I think it changes the entire complexion of the game when your goaltender can't make saves he has to make early in the game.
Yeah, and Craig, when you talk about it, we talk about the body language on the bench. We talked about it years ago when Carter Harton was in the net, and you just go, oh, shit, here we go again. And I'm telling you, that first goal goes in under 2 minutes against a good team, and you have to believe on the bench guys are going, oh, come on, again? Like, and I know I'm trying to give Karel Vejmelka the benefit of the doubt that there was some screens and there was some traffic, but still, he's 6'5". The puck goes up almost a foot below the bar. Like, come on. Like, and here's what I encourage people to do. And I know I'm really hard on Karel Vejmelka, but go watch. And there's 2 goalies specific I'm going to mention. Bobrovsky is one of them, and Shesterkin is another. 2 Russian goalies. And you watch today and watch highlights and go see them in their next few games when shots are taken from the top of the circle to the blue line. See if they go down. Just watch if they go down. Now, if the puck is coming in on a low trajectory, meaning it's going to be along the ice, yes, they are going down. That gives them the best way to cover the low part of the net, the lower third with your pads. I get it. But if that puck is up high, meaning waist or higher, watch and see if they go down. And just see if they're being more reactive or proactive. And if they're just dropping every time a shot's taken, you give up the top of the net. And if every shooter in the league knows you go down all the time, shoot for the top of the net. And we've already talked about that with Craig about Canadian goalies specifically doing it. But now here's the Czech goalie doing it. If you become robotic like that and go down all the time, guys can pick the corners. So I want people to watch those 2 Russian goalies and see them standing up. And yes, it makes a difference. And he needed to make one of those saves on any of the power play goal is next. Incredibly difficult save. Needs to make it. Breakaway save. He's got to make one of them. He makes that breakaway save and now it's 2-0. And you go, oh shit, that's a great save. We're back in this. Maybe. Maybe.
And there was the shot through Vejmelka's legs too, where people are like, but if you looked at his positioning in the net, he wasn't squared with shooters.
Sliding. Again, the Zamboni driver is going, hey, back out there, buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, while we're on the negativity and talking about the goals against, I'm going to throw it back to Petey, who put together a Petey's Puck Talk to go through some of these goals against.
Yeah, this is the third goal against that we're going to look at. And I tell you what, I went a little bit deeper than this, and we're going to have it up on our YouTube channel shortly after this show is over to give you a little bit deeper dive. And there actually might be some positives in it. But I want people to learn something from this on what to look for when you're watching your team in a game. That's the point of these PD Puck Talks. So if we're ready, let's start it off with another PD's Puck Talk. This starts on a forecheck off of the face-off of the 2-0 goal. This is it. They win the face-off. They dump the puck in. Nick Bukestad's first on the puck. This looks great. Everything's great. Next slide. And now you've got Keller and Schmaltz. We call them F2 and F3. They're coming in. They're the second forward and the third forward, and they're great position. Look, they've got the Florida Panthers forward defenseman and forward in front of them. Everything is fine here. This is a really good looking forecheck right now. You're protecting it. If you get the puck, you can give it to Keller, and it's a scoring chance. If you don't get the puck, you're in a defensive position to defend the Florida Panthers. Next. Now, both Keller and Schmaltz dive below the goal line. If you see your team with 3 forwards below the goal line, that is a bad thing. Unless you have possession of the puck, or if you're the Boston Bruins and you can play like that and you can retrieve pucks below the goal line. Arizona Coyotes can't do that. So they dive in. If you notice where the 2 Florida Panthers players are, they're in front of the net. So you have 3 Coyotes behind the net, 2 Florida Panthers in front of the net. Next slide. So what does that do? That means you're going to have a 3-on-2 against. It's going to be a 3-on-2. It's 3-on-2. 3 forward Florida Panthers versus 2 Coyotes defensemen. That's it. It's a 3-on-2. You can defend that. Vejmelka gets too excited and he calls what we call it diving in, or he pinches, trying to keep the puck in the zone. You cannot, never, ever pinch when you don't have support, which means unless there is an Arizona Coyote forward coming back to take your spot, you cannot go. Vejmelka cannot go. Has to stay on the blue line. It's 3-on-2. And if it's a 3-on-2, they might be able to defend. Vejmelka pinches next. And after he pinches, now it is a 2-on-1. And this is bad enough as it is. It's 2-on-1, but we're okay. It's Sean Durzi, 2-on-1. Next slide. And as Sean Durzi, what does Sean Durzi do? He doesn't defend it as a 2-on-1. He goes right at the puck carrier, Verhaeghe. Goes right at him. He puts a stick on puck, tries to deflect the puck. He has to play soft, meaning he has to play between the two players. And stop this pass across. That's his job. Stop the pass. Got to stop the pass. That's his one job. Stop the pass. He doesn't stop the pass. He attacks the puck carrier. The puck carrier slides it over easily to a driving Bennett. Next slide. Bennett all alone. Goal. And now it's 3-0. And this is all off a face-off win. A face-off win by the Arizona Coyotes ends up in the back of the net. And that is another PD's Puck Talk.
Oi.
I got to say this again. I've said it before. Go to any NHL city, take a look at the media coverage, and tell me if you can find that covering any team in the NHL. PD is so valuable to this beat, to our coverage. You just can't get that level of breakdown of analysis. It doesn't come anywhere else. I've been in media a long time. I know all the outlets. I know what's going on in every city. We're the only ones who have this. Be thankful we have PD.
And as
Craig, thank you so much.
That's so nice. And as Chris in the chat says, Professor PD is the best. And that's true. And by the way, last night, while this was all happening before the power went out, PD actually showed me and Craig this live on his computer. So I'm glad that everybody else got to see
You
it.
even let us get away, if you remember. I was going to do something.
Yeah.
It's wait.
No.
First.
You have to come see this.
It's frustrating because
it's more than just, I got to show you this. It's a passion. He loves doing, which is amazing.
It's fun. And you know what? People, when you learn what you're looking for and you see things, you get more engaged in the sport. It's reality. And I know I hate to be picking on the Coyotes all the time. And again, I said there's PD's Puck Talk coming out after this, and there are some bright spots, which we should talk about before we move on from this.
Which, of course, all the bright stuff happened when we weren't watching the game, when we were standing outside of our building with the 8 fire trucks. I will say I did go back and watch the Coyotes goals. PD watched the third period. I can't speak for Craig, but that's neither here nor there. The kids were all right in the third period. Dylan Guenther, great shot from Keller and Kerfoot, gets his 3rd of the season. That had to feel good after being a little bit dry for a few games since, he got called up and scored twice in his first 2 games. And then Logan Cooley. He's not another guy who scores a lot, unfortunately. As of late, he gets one on an assist from Michelli and Guenther. So I like the youth on that play. Hit Logan Cooley's 5th of the season, and you got to at least admire that they didn't get shut out 6-0. That it was
when you talk about those 2 players, Leah, the one thing they did what they do well, and it showed. It wasn't fluke goals off. Guenther had a hell of a shot. That's a power play goal from his spot, and he wires over Bobrovsky. Bobrovsky's there. He gets there in time, and that's just his release for a guy of his size is absolutely elite. And when I'm not just blowing smoke because he's an Arizona Coyote, that's a hell of a shot. I mean, that's a big league NHL shot that he beat an NHL goalie clean from outside the dots. That's a hell of a shot. So he did what he's supposed to do. And then you look at the next goal, the Cooley goal, and hey, I know, but it's 6-1, and Florida's probably way off the gas, and they're thinking about their post-game party. I get it. But there wasn't one Coyote on the ice over the age of 24. You had Kesselring, Mosier, Guenther, Michelli, and Cooley. 4 or 5 young kids on the ice. That's encouraging for Coyote fans. And Cooley does what he does. He drove the net, head down, stick on the ice, and he drove the net. And that's hard to do for a 19-year-old to get to that area of the ice. And he beat the defender. Hell of a pass by Dylan Guenther, and it ends up in the net. And all 5 Coyote players, all 5, touched the puck on that play. So it's amazing to see the future.
Do you guys want to hear about the episode of Rick and Morty that I watched with my kid? No? Okay.
That was Craig's morning viewing.
That was his evening when he got home.
That was last night?
Yeah,
but he went to bed. It was 9.
No, it's family.
9.
It's family time when you get home.
I said that right when we were all getting ready for bed. Leah's, and as everyone knows, Leah and Danielle run this show, and so they're texting this group text. Hey, I've got this. I've got that. Is this ready for tomorrow? And I'm like, buddy, are we done? It's like 9. I'm in bed.
It was too. It was crazy. It was like this string of quotes from Danielle and Leah working, and Leah asked me to send one thing. Like I sent 5 words to her. That was my contribution.
No, but the funny part was I asked you in the group text and you didn't reply, so then I had to text you separately.
I'm busy. Rick and Morty.
Busy with Rick and Morty, okay?
Yeah, buddy. Rick and Morty are on. Leave me alone, and I'm buckled up for bedtime. So I said I'm going to bed. Last time, are we good? So I could go to bed. You can't get up at 5 if you go to bed at 1, Leah.
I didn't wake up at 5. I woke up at 7:15. Okay. Well, we'll wrap up our post-game conversation here. We will award a dog in him because that is what we do. So Danielle, who is our desert dog from last night? Oh, it's the Phoenix Fire Department for their big save on our building. And I like the SpongeBob characters. What is it? Go Fire Department or something, Danielle? Go Firefighters?
Oh, that's really good, actually.
Oh my gosh.
That's good stuff.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, Danielle.
So it's the quote is, for the firemen.
Yeah, there it is.
For the firemen.
Awesome. Oh boy. All right. Well, Danielle will be back later in the show to talk about our crazy night last night. Let's just wrap up. We'll get to the upcoming schedule later when we talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning game. But let's show the punch card because that's what we do. I know everyone loves the punch card. So for the, I think, 4th time in a row, they start the line off with a loss. So it's looking tough there on the left side. But today is a new day. So we will see. That is the punch card. And that is the post-game segment of the show. Anything else you guys want to talk about from last night's game before we move on?
They've got to find a way to have better starts. They got to have better starts. They have to have better starts. They've got to have better starts. I don't know how many times I got to say it. That first 10 minutes, if they're not ready to play, they're going to lose again tonight.
Well, hopefully nobody drops more news about the arena right before they go on the ice. So.
Unless it's good.
Where are they moving to today, Craig? We're going to get to it, aren't we? Are we getting to it?
We'll get to it next.
Not yet.
It will be made someday with all the cities listed that they were supposedly moving to.
Okay, just checking.
Oh boy. All right. Well, Coyotes need a good start. Everybody needs a good start saving money. And you can do so with Desert Financial Credit Union because not only do they have checking accounts, they have savings accounts, they have mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. And you can start ahead because when you open a free checking account online with Desert Financial Credit Union, you get $200 in bonuses. Who doesn't love an extra $200? I know I do. So you can get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. And just as a reminder, Craig banks there. So if it's good enough for Craig, it's probably too good for you.
You know what else I can add to that, Leah? You know what else I can add? I might put in a good word for you at Desert Financial Credit Union so you can get membership not only to the Platinum Club at Desert Financial, but also, the PHNX Coyotes Platinum Club. But all you have to do to gain membership to this is bring me some food at a game. Some people have done it already. So
some people have done that, and they're
it's a win-win.
So I can see somebody like maybe after a few OGs or a couple of 4 peaks, I walk into Desert Financial Credit Union and ask for the Craig Morgan VIP room, and like they actually like the wall starts to open up, and it's like this like a disco ball and comfortable chairs and Pellegrino at the right temperature with waiters with the white cloth over their arm. You're welcome, sir. I could just see it. Thanks, Desert Financial Credit Union.
Yeah,
and with all the money you've saved, Leah, you know where you should go? You should go get new flooring. With Empire Today, you get a shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Working with Empire Today is easy, quick, and convenient. And you know what else they have that's super cool? Empire Today has a virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how your floors will look in any space. It's easy to snap a picture and instantly see how your floors will look in your room with your furniture, in your lighting. And Empire Today services their own warranties. If an issue does arise, just call Empire. I know because of my flooring, I had a problem. They were there the next day. And not just the installers, but they had management there. And buddy, fixed. Everything was fantastic. And I didn't use them. I used a big box store for something else, and I'm still having problems. Wish I would have gone to Empire Today. It was before the deal. Didn't know. Empire Today. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details.
All right. Well, it's time to talk about
Oh, darkness, my old friend.
the arena.
You really should have some like foreboding theme music.
We should have like an
Mm.
intro to every time we talk about the arena. It's like
My God, that's brilliant.
yeah,
Okay,
like
we're
some
doing that after.
animation.
Danielle, add it to your list of 1,000 things. Like with the Darth Vader music.
Or like the upside down, and we're going to the upside
Oh, the
down
upside
to
down.
talk
I
about
like
the
that.
arena.
Love it.
Anywho, okay, well, let's first talk, and we already touched on it with, the distraction it could have been to the players last night. But let's get into the actual situation here, and we'll start with the release yesterday from Smith Entertainment Group, as Craig mentioned, owners of the Utah Jazz, who asked the NHL to, quote, initiate an expansion process to bring a team to the state. And I would just like to say one more time, the expansion process, which didn't stop all of the Twitter trolls from saying the Utah Coyotes, the Salt Lake City Coyotes, relocate the Coyotes. What part about that release did you see relocation?
Well, the problem was the phrase that came after it. SEG has also made it clear its immediate ability to welcome an NHL team to Utah using Delta Center as an interim home arena for an NHL franchise. That's what had everybody thinking, oh, in addition to we want to start the expansion process, we could also house a team right away. So everybody made the leap to Coyotes. And listen, I didn't call the Utah Jazz owner to find out if that's what was intended in the release. But you know what troubled me? I didn't report that was related to the Coyotes. A lot of other people did, and they didn't make that call either. What did you mean by this raise? Instead, you know what? I'm just going to interpret it and then put it out there in the Twitterverse for everybody to see. That bothers me. You guys know I harp on this all the time. I probably sound like the grumpy old guy. Do the reporting. Do the reporting before you do something as irresponsible as saying this is related to the Coyotes. It's a simple call, and it's, forgive my French, it's the fucking job. So make the call and find out if this relates to the Coyotes. So I don't know what was intended. I haven't spoken to him, and I'm going to try now because apparently nobody else is going to do it. My understanding is Utah has requested an expansion franchise, not the Coyotes. So I want to get that out there first. I also want to talk about this other deadline that's been floated by multiple national outlets saying, well, the Coyotes need to have something by the All-Star break. They need to let the league know their plans by the All-Star break or it's gonzo. That is categorically false. The All-Star game is not a deadline for the Coyotes. We have heard it said multiple times by the league, by Javier Gutierrez, it's the first quarter of 2024. Whether that means the end of March or it strays, a couple weeks to the end of the regular season, I don't know. Deadlines are flexible, but the All-Star game is not a deadline for the Coyotes. That is inaccurate. Stop saying it again. Find out. Ask the question. And then when we're talking about reporting, if you can't get a response from the Coyotes, maybe try calling some other people here. Listen, I know that when you cover a team locally as a beat writer or, as any news outlet in the city, you might have more sources on the ground, whether it's in government or elsewhere, than people nationally might. But you got to at least try before you put out a report like this. You can't say, well, I tried calling the Coyotes. They didn't call me back, so we're just going to roll with this. I mean, try it. Again, it's the job. Do the reporting. Try and find other sources. At least say in your report, we reached out to X, X, and X and did not hear back. I'm so troubled by the incomplete level of reporting that exists on this story. And it's like I tweeted yesterday, same as it ever was. There's just not enough work that goes into these reports.
Well said, Craig.
Craig, and that's why, Craig, when I looked at this, and if I see and Joe or Jane tweeted out on their Twitter and they just go, here's what's happening, and they're not affiliated with the media, that's just their personal opinion. You know what? I get it. That's what social media, converse with your friends. It's like you're at the barber shop and you're just visiting. That's fine. But if you are a reporter, you should be reporting. And I think people look to reporters to give them news, and look for reporters for what's happening in the world, and look to reporters to find out what's really going on, because they don't have the resources to find out what's really going on. And when they don't do that, it's frustrating for me, because now that's the rumor mill stuff that gets into the locker room and affects the players, the staff, the trainers, the coaches. And it's just, it's unfortunate, because it's not reporting. And if you're a reporter, you should report. And that's why I'm going to be flowers back to you, Craig. If I read Craig Morgan say it, Craig Morgan talked to somebody. Craig Morgan called somebody. He asked somebody. He knows something. That's reporting. And so I have opinions. I got a lot of opinions. You can just ask me. I still believe this team is going to stay here. I still believe this team will be an Arizona Coyote team for a very long time. I don't know that. I'm not a reporter. I didn't ask anybody. That's just what I believe. That's the difference between a reporter and an analyst. There you go.
Yeah, and it's especially frustrating when well-respected national reporters make assumptions and publicly put them out like that. That's bothersome. And I think this kind of leads into another thing that happened yesterday, or that came out, was some comments that NHLPA Director Marty Walsh made regarding the Coyotes, saying the clock is ticking in Arizona. In my opinion, if you didn't read the Athletic article that came out yesterday, that Marty Walsh had some quotes in, he didn't have great things to say about the Coyotes, but as I mentioned, he said the clock is ticking. In my opinion, Craig, I know you have some thoughts on Marty Walsh's comments as well.
Yeah, and I want to listen when we're talking about media accounts like this story was written by Joe Smith, a former colleague of mine at The Athletic, who I respect immensely as a reporter, as a writer, as a person. I'm friends with Joe. We hung out at the draft in Vancouver. I spoke to Joe on the drive back from Tucson yesterday. We talked for a long time. I don't have any problem with what Joe Smith did here. He got the executive director of the NHLPA to talk on a variety of topics. This was just one of them that Marty touched on, and he quoted Marty. That's fine. Like, this is a Q&A. There was nothing wrong with this piece. And also, I don't have a problem with what Marty Walsh is doing here. He is defending his constituency. That is his job, to look out for the best interest of the players. I get that. He's a spokesperson for the players. Having said that, like, if Marty Walsh thinks that the Coyotes are going to keep him updated on all the granular details of their arena plan, he's nuts. I know he wants them to, but listen, some of this has turned into like this war of words between the PA and the Coyotes. Marty Walsh hasn't exactly been kind in his portrayal of the Coyotes, and some of it's fair, right? They're playing at a 4,600 seat college arena. It's crazy. He has to look out for the best interest of his players, and he's right. They deserve an NHL arena. They deserve everything that every other market gets. All of that is fine, but I don't think the Coyotes intend to keep Marty Walsh informed. I don't know that he's getting everything that he thinks he's getting from the league. And I know Marty Walsh has political connections here in the Valley, but I don't think he's talking to the right people, because I don't think Marty Walsh really knows what's happening on the ground here. I think we're going to find out something very soon, like probably right at the tail end of the All-Star break. If things go according to plan, things change a lot, obviously, with a deal of this magnitude. But I would circle February 8th as a date to watch in this. But again, it's sorry, Marty, you're just not going to get the updates you want. And I don't think you have a full sense. Is the clock ticking on the Coyotes? Absolutely, it's ticking. We all know that. We keep saying that. They got to have a solution by the end of the season, or it's time to move on to plan B, whatever plan B is. But we are not there yet. And I don't think from a national perspective, people outside this market, probably a lot of people in this market, really don't have a full understanding of what's happening yet. something is probably coming out very soon.
The one thing I want to say about Marty Walsh, and this is, I don't know what the advantage would be to Coyotes ownership and management on including the players into their process of purchasing or trying to build an arena. I don't understand the advantage of negotiations and letting them know inside information. When someone buys a house and they're planning to rent it, they don't call all the renters out and say, "Hey, come on, why don't you guys help us buy this house?" Or when we're lessees of the building in downtown, when there's a new management company, they don't come to us and go, "Hey, here, we're going to get, you guys want to get involved as we make a bid for it?" No, it's not how it works. You're working in the building. I think there is a point when the team needs to inform the players of the periphery of what's going on. But at the PA at this stage, no, and I don't see the advantage of other than to appease your own players so you can stop some of the rumor mill and some of those before you play a game. But there is no advantage for the Coyotes to include the NHLPA in their negotiation process.
You know what else happens in these, and we've seen this recently, Petey. You pass along a piece of information. Well, it changes. It's the telephone game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Little facts change as it moves along the string of people, and the more people you tell, the more versions you get of that story. And there's also this notion like, a lot of people are like, the Coyotes need to say something. And then when Javier Gutierrez gets out there and talks, people are like, Javier Gutierrez talks too much. So what do you want? I don't know if there's a win situation here. Has it been too long? Probably. It'd be nice to have a solution by this point. And obviously we all know what happened in Tempe, and that sets sort of the stage for the frustration on a lot of levels, because that failed epically when we were told it was going to pass. But I don't know what the answer is here, what you say to appease the masses, because some people will say you're talking too much. Some people say you don't talk enough. I don't think there's a win situation. The only way you win here is when you release the solution.
Couple things to add. Something Craig always says, and I'll always remember, is every source has an agenda. So keep that in mind when you hear any sort of comments from anybody.
And those sources could be talking to reporters, right?
Yes.
And like then reports, I mean, like where did this All-Star break thing come from, right? Where does that come from? It's categorically false. It is not a deadline, but it's been put out by multiple people. Do they have the same source? Are multiple people saying it's crazy? But yes, everybody has an agenda. You're right, Leah.
And then we also have Kat is in the chat, DNCR chick, and said politicians also aren't going to give info to reporters who randomly call them and aren't relationship building, which is the difference, as Craig mentioned earlier, between somebody who's here on the ground and has sources developed over time versus, someone somewhere else. So putting that out there as well. But something else that we need to mention, and I've seen it mentioned a few times in the chat here as well. All of this comes out yesterday, the Utah thing, the Marty Walsh comments, but another huge story is the Team Canada 2018 World Junior Team. A few players taking leaves of absence. Craig, I'll just throw this one back to you again.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of suggestion that the Utah release was a smokescreen to divert attention away from these 5 players basically taking leave of absence, probably surrendering themselves to police. Nope. This release was planned for a while, and I have confirmed that. And it's not a surprise to me. You don't just throw this out. Hey, we better throw this release together. And they threw a release together no, that doesn't happen. This has been coming for a while. And again, like making those leaps is just as bad as the leaps we talked about before. Don't say that without any proof. This makes sense to me. I don't care if it makes sense to you. That's just a conspiracy theory. There's no tie between these two things. It's just crazy timing. The release of the Utah news was planned for a while. Obviously, this other story is a major story that the NHL is going to have to deal with, that these teams are going to have to deal with, but the two are unrelated.
Yeah, and the only thing I want to say about it, specifically the World Junior thing, is that I want to preface all this with, this is the PHNX Coyotes podcast. We deal with Coyotes news. We do delve into a little bit of the NHL news. This is not a story that Craig is going to report on, that he's going to track down. This is nothing that Leah and I are going to address with opinions or thoughts. We don't know. This is in the court of law. When things come out and there are time to have opinions after it's been resolved, then we may have an opinion at that time. But this is not the outlet to go for if you're looking for news on the 2018 World Junior team.
Well, this has been a very rant-heavy show, so we'll move into a little bit more positive segment here, and I can think of no better way to shift our mindset to positivity than talking about Gila River Resorts and Casinos, because what a place to have some fun. If you've never been to any of the Gila River Resorts and Casinos locations, nobody does it better. Truly, the state-of-the-art gaming floor with over 800 slot machines, 15 blackjack tables, and live game tables, and not to mention Arizona's largest casino sportsbook, including a ton of amazing dining options as well. If you're not interested in the restaurant or the casino or the sportsbook, which all those things are great, they also, of course, are a resort, which makes a great staycation here in the Valley as well. So you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
And I've got something here too. I've got a question for both of you. Where is America's thirst stop? Before you answer, it is not Craig Morgan's house on St. Patrick's Day, although it is a great way to quench that thirst is at Craig Morgan's. But America's thirst stop is Circle K. When what? Because of their Polar Pops. And you want a free Polar Pop? You know what you do? You become part of their inner circle. You save 25 cents when you become a member of the inner circle. You save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every day after that. And you get on every 6 purchase, when you buy 5, you get the 6th one free on pizza, coffee, and those ice-cold fountain drinks in Polar Pops. So make sure you join the inner circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
Craig, you are muted.
How close is the closest Circle K to each of you?
Less than a mile.
Yeah,
I'm 3 miles, but
But you live out there.
Yeah, I live out there. No, I live out there. I'm in the desert a bit, but it's 3 miles. So yeah, I drive by it every day to get to the freeway.
When you walk to the Circle K, do you fear being attacked by bobcats?
There are rattlesnakes, absolutely, most definitely, certainly. I almost stepped on one on that walk once, and that's absolutely true. So
I don't have such threats. I can get to Circle K easily.
Yeah, no, we're not walking.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, let's spend a couple minutes talking about the game tonight against the Tampa Bay Lightning.
They play tonight?
It's not an easy turnaround. In fact, let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. There's not much on there since next week they're all off. But yeah, they play tonight, 5 p.m. our time, 7 for the Coyotes. Luckily, it's a very short trip to Tampa from Miami. And then on Saturday, headed to Carolina. At least this road trip makes sense geographically, but a back-to-back is tough. Luckily, the light at the end of the tunnel for these guys is the All-Star break.
Well, the good news is this team. The good news, this team has won 6 of their last 7. They haven't lost a game at home since December. Yeah, that's last month. And only 2 teams in the National Hockey League have lost fewer games at home: Boston and Vancouver, both respectively leading their divisions. This is not good. This isn't good. There's nothing about this. In the last week, they've scored 7 against Minnesota, 6 against Philadelphia, 5 against Anaheim. This team can score. They've got the leading scorer. You look at Kucherov, who's elite player. This team
fan
plays
of the show,
speed and pace, and offensively outstanding. The only, I don't know if they've announced who's starting a goal tonight, and if it is Vasilevsky, it makes it that much harder to score. They, as Dave Griffiths would say, are in one. And Vasilevsky is confirmed. So good luck.
The good news is Connor Ingram's in goal for the Coyotes. So
it's true. It is true.
Too. Even
it's true.
Go ahead.
No, it's the 10 minutes, Craig. It's that 10 minutes. So dial into that 10 minutes. They're playing on a back-to-back after getting their ass kicked and embarrassed in Florida. So they need to play this 10 minutes. It needs to be clean. And if they're not clean, Connor Ingram better bail them out. Because if they get behind 2-0, 10 minutes into this one, they might as well just go to Carolina.
Yeah. So I'm expecting, after last night's performance, I think it's pretty easy to get a team dialed in. And I know a lot of people freak out about back-to-backs, but a lot of players will tell you it's not the back-to-backs. You often feel better on a back-to-back. It's the 3 and 4. It's that third game, and they don't play well in Carolina anyway. So this is the game to circle. Connor Ingram's in goal. You'll be focused after last night. And yeah, while you mentioned that Amalie Arena, which I think is named after our good friend at NHL.com, Emily Benjamin, has been a tough place for the Coyotes. I expect the Coyotes to be focused. I think this will probably be their best effort of the 3-game trip.
That's fair.
Yeah. And one other note that I forgot to mention just because, it wasn't on my mind as if we did the postgame show last night. Obviously, we now know that Matt Dumba is week to week with an injury. Victor Soderstrom was recalled. He was scratched last night, and there was a reason for that.
Yeah, I just, and Petey and I talked about this. Like, I asked Petey for his take because Petey's a coach. He's in the room and understands the thinking on something. But to me, like, you call up Victor Soderstrom, and then do you throw him to the Wolves against the Florida Panthers of all teams? That didn't seem like the way for Victor Soderstrom to make his debut.
Yeah, you're trying to give a guy confidence and give him the best opportunity to succeed. And I don't know if making his first game on this trip against Florida Panthers would be the best way for him to do that. I would expect to see Victor Soderstrom on this trip, however.
There you have it. All right, we'll move on and talk about the thing that I know everybody came here for. Not the game talk, not the arena talk,
buddy,
but about our harrowing experience, just kidding, at the PHNX offices last night. So Danielle, why don't you come on the screen, because the four of us had quite the adventure last night, and it's time to walk everybody through the craziness that was last night and the reason we did not have a post-game show last night.
Are we doing minute by minute here?
I think we should.
Okay.
Is this the first post-game to ever get canceled on PHNX?
I don't know.
I think so.
I think it is.
Look at us setting records. I like that.
Yep.
So here's how this goes down. I went to get a sandwich
in the middle of the second
period. Yes, because we were looking at this game, say, yeah, this is done. I'm going to get a sandwich. I'm hungry. I just drove back from Tucson. I haven't eaten. I went to Jersey Mike's. Oops, sorry, Max. Can't mention that on the free to get the club sub. And as I'm walking back, my phone rings and it's Petey. I'm like, buddy, you can't wait to talk to me in 5 minutes. All right. I haven't been gone that long. I know you miss me, and Petey says, hey, the power's out. I look up at the building. The entire building is dark. This massive high rise that we're in is dark at the Arizona Sun. I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? And like, check. So he's like, check with the security people. I walk in, the security woman is on the phone trying to figure out what's going on. No clue yet. So, the building's dark, the power's out, but the elevators are still working. So, being the intelligent guy that I am, I hop in the elevator and go up to the studio, walk out. The fire doors are closed. Just open the fire door, go into the office, and there's some lights on. The emergency lights are on, and we're making a decision as to what to do. So you guys take it from here.
So what was going on in the other side is we're watching the game, and all of a sudden, all the lights, everything off. And you know how, there's background, humming of the air and the TV, and all of a sudden silence and darkness except for the green exit sign glow. And Danielle and Petey and I are like, what? And the crazy thing is the lights come back on, but no power works, just the emergency lights. I had reclined in the more furniture recliner. I couldn't unrecline. The power was off. So Craig, of course, comes in with his sandwich, and Jacob, our head of production, calls me on the phone and said, I think you guys should go home to try and get home in time to do the post game. And I'm like, yeah, I think we should go home. And Craig goes, well, let me finish my sandwich first. So Craig eats a sandwich in record time. Petey has the game up on his phone because that's the only place we can watch it. So we're like, yeah, you know what? Let's go. But then we're thinking, can we even get out because we're parked underneath the building and, the gate needs electricity.
And so how did you guys get out?
So we walk out. That is when we discovered the fire alarm was going off. We did not know this inside of our office. It was quiet.
I want to tell my side of the story
yes.
here.
Go.
So we got to a point in Craig's sandwich where I was like, okay, we need to make a decision. If we're going to get home on time, I need to leave right now. Because I live out in Mesa, so I'm a bit of a drive. And so I'm walking down the stairs, and with every level, the midway, right as I open the door, the fire alarms go off. And with every level you get down, the fire alarm gets louder and louder. It was really creepy. I'm sure you guys experienced that, but I have the video here. The sound is on. So this is what we're hearing.
Get ready, headphone unit.
it was a little surreal because nobody's down there, and I'm walking down there. I look around. I'm getting the video. Like, oh, this is fun. Like, I work at Chase Field. The fire alarm sometimes goes off, and nobody cares. But yeah. So I'm walking around, and then all of a sudden, the security guard comes sprinting in. She's like,
Literally sprinting.
like, I think there's a fire. And then the building manager comes in here. He's like, there's a fire. You gotta go.
She's like, get out of the building.
Get out of the building. There's a fire. You have to get out of here.
Yeah, they were saying there was tons of smoke in the garage.
Yeah, and so I called Leah and I was like, hey, you guys might want to get out of the building. It was literally just like that. It was nice and calm because I didn't see any fire. I'm still thinking it's like, okay, the fire, everybody's overreacting. What is and then Craig and I go to the garage, and all of a sudden we're hit with this wall of it wasn't smoke, but like the smell. We were just hit with the smell. The second we turned around we turned the corner and we look at each other like, yeah, we ain't getting out of this. Like we're not getting our cars. We're not going home. So yeah, I called Jacob. Like,
yeah, and the reason I got to Danielle before Petey and Leah did is because I took the elevator.
Well, by the way,
well, they were in the they were in the building getting videos. Like, hey guys, we're here getting.
That's true.
With the PHNX
Petey
Coyotes crew.
filming
content, like constantly shooting videos.
So, two things to recap. If the fire alarm goes off in your high-rise building, do not, under any circumstances, do not get in the elevator. Craig would, and I know he would agree with this. He would, if it was his kids, he would rethink that. Please do not get in the elevator in a building where the fire alarm is going off. Please, that's one. And two, when you're in the lobby with the building manager literally freaking out, saying, "Get out, get out, get out," don't stop and film content to show where you are at that time. So those two things we would highly advise against. We preach security here at PHNX. We want you to be safe and we would take care of your well-being. And sometimes we don't always think appropriately in these situations. Craig and I will make sure to follow those rules next time.
Well,
and
to be fair, Petey and I didn't know for sure there was a fire yet. Like
Right.
we just thought the alarm was going off.
And we've all been in buildings where that's happened. And we did not react appropriately to the situation and the level of concern. Then when we get outside, I again thought, put my reporter hat on, let's film some content, which I did. And I thought, okay, this is fine. But this is fine. And then I go around to the side and I saw them with the saw. Danielle and I are watching them saw
We have
down
a video.
the gate where there it is. The sawing, that's where our cars go in and out to the building. And I thought at that moment, this is the first time we're in trouble. Like, not that I was our safety and we were all fine and the firemen weren't rushing, so we didn't think there was any immediate danger. The concern was our cars were in there and that gate was cut in half. And I'm like, we might be not going anywhere for a while. That's what went through my head. And great, the fire department did an outstanding job. The smoke was cleared. The building did a great job in getting us, and they were able to open that gate and get us all out. So hats off to the building crew, the engineers, security, and all the fire people, because everyone was safe and sound. And most importantly, our cars were all safe and sound as well, and we were able to get out of there.
Yeah, but it was quite the scene on the street. As you can see, multiple fire trucks and ambulances. Like, if you were in downtown Phoenix last night wondering what was going on, this was what was going on. It was insane. And, we're standing there waiting to see what's happening. And then the problem is the gate's closed and you need power to lift the gate. So how many firefighters does it take to lift a gate? The answer is quite a few. We have a photo of them all gathered trying to figure out the gate situation, which is hilarious right here. They're just all trying to figure it out. And we're thinking, are we ever getting out of here tonight? I'm not sure. But luckily we did. And the part of the story that I don't know if Petey and Craig even know this is Petey and Craig were parked on the first level of the garage. And Danielle and I were at the bottom. So we separate. They go in their cars. Danielle and I are making our way around the last corner. And all of the lights in the parking garage turn off. And it's me and Danielle in a dark parking garage. And I was like, this is how the horror movie begins. This is it. Like, this is how we die.
Yeah. Well, we were walking down and I think I had just said, like, boy, this is kind of creepy. Because, like, the lights were flickering a little bit. Like, the pipes were dripping. And then all of a sudden we hear this like rev down and the lights go up. And like it's fight or flight. So all of a sudden they're like, all right, when the lights come back on, I'm fighting Slenderman. like I would have to fight somebody, and the lights came on, and yeah, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but I was like feeling the smoke in my chest on the way home.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I was having,
no.
like I was feeling like I wouldn't say I was having trouble breathing, but like I could feel it, and like I started to get a little lightheaded in the drive home too.
You guys walked right past where the generator was too, so you might have come a little more in contact. I wasn't going to Slenderman. I was like reenacting Die Hard with Petey. I was adopting Hans Gruber's voice because that's what I was imagining in the high rise. But that was one crazy scene last night. I'm glad we're all safe, and hopefully one Arizona Center will be back up and running at some point soon. We'll see.
We'll see. You'll all find out where we do our shows.
Well, it's the main generator, so we'll see. Well, it may take a while.
So anyway, that's our story. That's why there was no post game last night. Again, thank you to Phoenix Fire and the Arizona Center building management, security, and engineers for helping us get out safely. And our offices and studios are completely unscathed. Our cars were unscathed, and we're unscathed, and that's what's important. So I know. Honestly, of all the games for this to happen, a horrible 6-2 loss to the Florida Panthers. Everyone was saying, like, not much to talk about in this one anyway. So made for a really funny story, and we appreciate everybody for following along on Twitter and in the Discord. I know a lot of our diehards were having some fun with it, so we appreciate it. So that's our story, and doesn't matter because we have another game tonight. So we don't stop. 2 shows in a day. Who says no? You got the game tonight against the Lightning, and you can bet on that over at BetMGM. I have a parlay pick brought to you by Shane. The theme is called, quote, "Good teams win, great teams cover degenerate special." Love it. And this is the parlay. Purdue Fort Wayne, not Purdue, Purdue Fort Wayne, money line. Youngstown State -14. I can't even. And Arizona State +10. Yep, I see why he called it what he did. This parlay is a +771 odds over at BetMGM. So if you want to tail that bet, you can do so over at BetMGM. You can also bet maybe the over in Connor Ingram saves. I kind of like that one tonight over at BetMGM. There's plenty of props you can bet on if you want to stay away from the game lines. But make sure when you bet, you do so over at BetMGM. And right now, when you sign up for BetMGM and use the bonus code PHNX, you can place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application of at least $5, and you'll receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
And while you're doing it, make sure you have a Four Peaks. Sports aren't the same without a Four Peaks in hand. They are the official beer of PHNX. From their crisp and malty kilt lifter Scottish ale to their subtle hints of citrus and their wild wheat or peach ale, your favorite local brewery has a beer for every mood and occasion. Check them out today at the 8th Street Pub or wherever you buy your beer. Visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. Check out Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink. Please enjoy responsibly. Thank you, Four Peaks.
Yes, thank you, Four Peaks. We might have to drink tonight.
Oh, buddy.
I'm excited about Wild Lights now.
Oh, what?
Wild Lights, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've got in the fridge right now, I've got Kilt Lifter and Wows, and I will admit last night, and that's where we talk about every mood, last night when we got home from the fire, and it was earlier than expected, so we got home much earlier than expected. That was the perfect time for a Kilt Lifter. Now today, after this show, when it'll only be 10:05 a.m., that is more of a wow moment.
Or oatmeal stout. Oatmeal, it's breakfast.
Yeah, yeah, oof, that's a stretch. That's heavy. But yeah, I get where you're going. It's breakfast. The breakfast of beers, the oatmeal stout.
Joel said, Delilah and I have a cookie delivery for Saul this afternoon. I need to know if it's possible. Joel, I would reach out to Saul directly. Nobody is in our office today as of right now.
I'd hold off
I would potentially delay that delivery. Just
is in and out all day at that building at the Arizona Center.
Yeah. PD, one last thing I know you wanted to mention before we wrapped up.
Yeah, and it's funny because I keep forgetting this, and and it's my fault. The Arizona high school hockey tournament is next week, and I know people that haven't been in the mall. This is your week to go because there are games Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday. Tuesday and Wednesday are the quarterfinals. It's on Tuesday night at 6:30 Centennial Place Flagstaff. At 8:10 Mountain Ridge pays Basha Perry, and guess what? $10 gets you into both games. $10, 2 games. Sit there through both of them. The next night on Wednesday, 6:30, it's Notre Dame Prep versus Brophy. And last year's champion at 8:10, Desert Vista, faces off against the Pinnacle Pioneers at 8:10 on Wednesday. Again, 1 ticket, 2 games. Thursday, semifinals, followed by the ACHA game of Grand Canyon University playing ASU's Division I ACHE team. On Thursday, $10, all 3 games. $10, you get all 3 games. So stop by the Mullet, and then on Sunday is the state championship game. And honestly, if we were there last year, unbelievable event. Asha did a great job. Sunday, put it on your plans right now. The All-Star game is Saturday. There is no hockey on Sunday except the Arizona State High School Hockey Championship at Mullet Arena. For more information, make sure you go to Asha. That's AHSHA.org. I will be there, and make sure if you see me, stop by and say hi.
It's a lot of fun. We had a blast at the
Well, it was so much
championship
fun.
game last
And
year. It
seeing
was
kids-
a really good game.
The kids, like the cheerleaders are there, bands are there, kids are bringing signs. The atmosphere is electric, and I tell you what, last year's championship game went to overtime. It was an unbelievable hockey game. It's just damn good hockey. So if you get a chance, go. The championship game is $15. You can get those tickets on Ticketmaster, and the other ones are all for sale at the door. So stop by and say hi if you see me, because I don't bite. Well. Sometimes a little
Unless
grumpy.
the Coyotes make stupid
Yeah, a
mistakes
little grumpy.
and
Little grumpy.
or a reverse VH goal happens.
I won't be grumpy there, I promise.
Oh boy. All right. Well, any final thoughts on anything we talked about before we head out and see everybody later today?
Yeah, well, lastly, we did have that modified PD's Puck Talk just now. Make sure you tune in. That will be dropping here before lunchtime today, hopefully, although it's getting close to lunchtime now. But we will be dropping another PD's Puck Talk when we see those in video and a much more detailed teaching of the game today. So tune into that, and make sure you subscribe to the PHNX YouTube channel so you don't miss extra content like that from all 3 of us. Because Craig, I know, dropped a YouTube short. Don't miss that, because he's so
Informative.
informative. So jump on the PHX YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that stuff.
Yeah, and tomorrow at gophnx.com, I'll have a story. Most of you know, I went down to Tucson yesterday to talk to goaltender Matt Vialta. Great story. Haven't seen a lot of substantive stuff written about him. He was an incredible interview. Got a chance to talk to him, talk to Potts, of course, and talk to Charlie McTavish, the Coyotes goaltending development coach. So I'll have a story tomorrow on Matt Vialta, who is an AHL All-Star.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to reading that. I don't really know much about him, so excited to get to know him through reading that. So again, check it out, gophnx.com, and make sure you become a diehard so you get access to our diehard only content. Craig has a few articles on Better for diehards only. We also have our Discord, of course, 20% off merchandise, 20% off on events as well. So just plenty of reasons to become a diehard, and our Discord as well. So it's always a fun place to watch a game and experience a building fire with your close friends. So there you go. We will be back live tonight again. So tune in after the Coyotes take on the Tampa Bay Lightnings. I hope we see Nikita Kucherov in the chat. I'll be very disappointed if we do not. But set a reminder, everybody, and as PD mentioned, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you missed the audio-only episode on Tuesday with former Coyote defenseman Ed Jovanowski, definitely listen. It was a really, really great interview, and that is an audio-only episode, so you have to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. It's completely free. We have weekly audio episodes dropping, so make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. And if you're there, you're already subscribed, hit the little 5-star button and leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out immensely. Thank you so much, everybody, for understanding the crazy circumstances of the night. This was a good one today because we all have so much energy in the morning and there was a lot to discuss. So we appreciate you all here in the chat live or watching or listening later. If you're on YouTube, be sure to hit the thumbs up button on this video on your way out. And you can follow us on Twitter at Craig S. Morgan, at S. Peters Hockey, at Leah Merrill, at Abraca Danielle, and you can follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday day, everyone, and we will see you all tonight.
We all silly like the mayor.